So here's the thing, it's a pretty interesting mix right here, which I've been paneling and public speaking with quite some time, but here you got a mix of builders, marketers, you got a lawyer, and you got a strategist as well. So I think we got it all. Is there anyone else who wants to join? No. All right, we're good. So what I will do is I'll just introduce quickly myself, and then I'll pass into a very, very quick, and I'll say just we'll keep this sweet and short round of intro. My name is MIRKO MACCARRONE. I'm the director of Web3 at LIGHTBLUE. We just been awarded Best Experiential Agency in the Middle East. And prior to that, I used to lead the marketing for Bitsong, part of the Cosmo blockchain. And prior to that, my experience is in AI marketing for Huawei and Bulgari in the past. I'll pass it on to this beautiful gentleman right here. So why don't we start right from you, Mathias, and we'll get things going.
Absolutely, sounds good. So I'm Mathias Mende, co-founder of the Dubai Blockchain Center. But since we talk about NFTs here, I'm also the founder of Bonuz Market, a social engagement Web3 platform ecosystem. We try to gamify the world and add more value between users and their favorite entities, creators, celebrities, brands, communities. And we reward with NFTs, but it's more like voucher NFTs, reward NFTs, redeemable NFTs, dynamic NFTs.
That's plenty of NFTs right there.
Yeah, a lot of NFTs. We see it's the future.
Martin, over to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Martin. I am the founder and CEO of Broken Egg. We are initially a creative Web3 agency in the Netherlands, and we're recently expanding here in the MENA region together with Cloud Primero as a strategic partner, really focusing on consultancy and development of any projects into the Web3 space, basically helping corporates and A-brands slowly try and step a little bit into the field of Web3.
Love the name Broken Egg. Carl, over to you.
Hi, I'm Cal Evans. For those of you who don't know me, for those of you who do know me, keep quiet for the next couple of minutes. I'm an international lawyer. I'm the managing associate of Gresham International, but I ask none of you to hold that against me. Outside of being a lawyer, I do a lot in the crypto and digital asset space. I write, I've written a book, The Little Book of Crypto. I consult with several governments. Also started a couple of organizations to help people get into crypto, the Cryptocurrency Academy. And I also own a couple of patents in the Web3 and crypto space as well. So I've been around, I've done a few things. It's great to be back here, see so many familiar faces, and really looking forward to being a part of this panel.
Awesome. AJ, over to you.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I am AISHWARYA JAIN. I'm the Global VP of Strategy and Growth at Nordek. My experience with crypto has been, it goes back to 2015. Since then, I've started with investing in traditional market, and then started participating in the IEO, ICO, as well as NFT launches. So that's my experience in the space. At Nordek, we are also building an NFT marketplace. So doing a lot of innovation in the space. We'll talk about it in a while.
Awesome. SHASHWAT, long time no see, from one panel to another. Over to you, my friend.
Awesome. So they've basically saved the best for last year, is what's happened. I'm kidding. My name is SHASHWAT. I've been a novelist, a startup founder in normal human world, and for the past 3 years, a marketeer in Web3. Right now, I'm leading marketing as CMO at a project called NFT3, where you can basically finally do something about the problem you have with Facebook taking all of your data. Just go to isme.is, and you can free your data today.
Awesome. Guys, should we give a round of applause so we all awake? Come on. All right, awesome, awesome. So, first question first. I think what we want to learn today is a little bit about NFTs, right? So, how has the market evolved in the last year, and what do you see the new emerging trends to be in NFT space? Why don't you kick this off, considering it's a very light question?
Well, I never believed in JPEG NFTs. But I totally believe in gaming NFTs as items, as I was selling items in Diablo 2 22 years ago with eBay and PayPal, till the inflation come when people started copying items. But I see the future big time in utility NFTs, which will be used in the real world, like vouchers, redeemable NFTs, loyalty points, memberships. But I also see big time real world assets as NFTs, but on the Bitcoin blockchain. Bitcoin blockchain is slow, takes 10 minutes, But I think for a property or real estate, it's okay to wait 10 minutes because still Bitcoin, it's the most decentralized blockchain for me, and I believe
That's amazing.
that's a part of the future.
Just to get the audience engaged a little bit. Sorry, how many of you, raise your hand, I'm here, how many of you do have a membership? Do you have a membership? Can you put your hands up? Okay. Down. How many of you got an NFT? So that's exactly what it's saying. It's saying that in the next couple of years, that question from membership will turn into NFT and vice versa. I love that.
Thank you.
Over to you. What do you think? What are these emerging trends?
So what happened is the word use, I think. You know, the word, I don't know really about the MENA region yet. We're still discovering this, so I'm happy to connect with any partners all over here. But I think the word use of NFT changed. We don't really use the word NFT anymore. It's more digital collectible, digital souvenir, something with the word digital in there. I think that's what we really saw. We launched an NFT collection for the Aquarium of Paris, for example. We started with the word NFT, and then we kind of had, you know, like a bad feeling about it on the market because they saw the NFT, scam, Bored Ape. They right away connected to that. So we actually called it the premium circle. So like you said, you know, subscription, this membership based. And I think people are starting to more look at, you know, what's the utility? That doesn't mean that some NFTs, you know, art NFTs are not valuable because maybe they don't have a real utility, but they have a sentimental or visual utility. But I think NFTs, they're becoming more like an actual utility. So if I once more take that example of the Aquarium of Paris, by owning an NFT like that, for example, you can go there physically to the museum whenever you want. So I think that utility is what's coming more to the market.
That's beautiful. You see how the world is shifting from what we consider JPEGs back in the days of what actually is NFTs and the utility you really unveiled. So, Carla, I do have, I'd love to hear your point of view on that, but if you also give me kind of a lawyer approach to it, that would be awesome.
All right. Okay, so I think for me right now, we're in this phase of unlocking the power of NFTs. And that's what I call it. If we think of what NFTs have been, the kind of evolution, we've seen some cool things, some technologies have kind of latched onto it, but one of the examples I give is in art. If we talk about art, people know NFTs to be great. Hey, I can, turn my art into collectible NFTs, and that's great, but it's kind of rudimentary. It's like 101, right? No, what's really cool with it, if we take that evolutionary piece, is now take the concept of I've taken a picture of a monkey or an ape and I've turned it into an NFT, a little gimmicky, but run with me on this. And now I can actually capture a specific moment in time and turn that into an NFT. So I don't have a one-off piece of art which is a Banksy painting on the side of a building. I have a one-off piece of art which is Banksy creating this particular painting at this particular moment in time, which is enshrined forever in an NFT. And when you think about that, it's a one-off nobody else can ever have. That's really friggin' cool, in my opinion.
Like a POEP, you mean, right?
Yeah, like, you're creating something, you're locking a moment in time, which we've never been able to do before in anything other than a picture.
That's awesome.
So if we look at that from a legal perspective, because, we said let's shift some legal into it, it creates a whole new world of ownership, IP rights, collectibles, all of that cool but very boring stuff. When you get something, you don't just own it as a one-off, like, hey, this is my picture. No, this is my moment in time. And for the first time ever, we're talking about really cool conversations about protecting a moment in time as a collectible, which we've never done before, outside of a photograph, which is really just the photograph. And that is really cool. It's a big evolutionary piece for me at the moment on NFTs.
So what if you sell that NFT then? Do you sell that moment?
What I was also going to say.
Yeah, you own.
It's not just that you can own it, you can trade it.
Exactly.
So there's like that piece of the open market we already created with tokens. That's actually a key unlocker as well of, I can capture this moment here, but it's valuable, and somebody else who actually cares, we can now connect, right? So the open market is another parallel sort of piece that's developing as well as maturing, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's always, we talk about NFTs as technological breakthroughs, but I do think in this specific context, the market also really, really matters. So, you know, we saw, like you said, initially there was a lot of froth in the beginning, low utility stuff. That's always going to happen when it's a new thing. But as the NFT market starts to mature, you probably are, the phrase creator economy is thrown around so much, and in another 5 years, we can probably assume the most real peer-to-peer form of the creator economy is going to be something like somebody capturing something, turning it into an NFT, and appreciators of that across the world can buy it off of the open market, and it can be a continuous chain of value creation and exchange, because it can, you know, it's on an open market. So I do think that's like pretty critical.
That's right. And I said all that without moving my lips. Did you like that? It's really good, right?
In fact, even the open markets are getting disrupted with Blur coming into picture. Now you can literally trade your NFTs with zero gas fees, and you know, the kind of new disruptions that are coming in with ERC 4337, which is going to change the entire NFT landscape, letting you authenticate without having to connect your wallet to MetaMask to a site, and bridging the gap between the Web 2 and Web 3 experience. That's super exciting, especially when it comes to gaming, cross-platform gaming especially. On phone, it's a disaster if you want to use, you know, authenticate using NFT as such. So yeah, all that is
I do want to add a little bit here, you know, because I mean, so what he spoke to is a different side of I think there's like a couple of verticals here. First is the infra layer of even NFTs themselves, right? So that's your how do you log in, how do you use it, the wallet side. So infra, obviously, for Web3 as a whole is still developing, and as it matures, the experience becomes more and more seamless. That's one side. The other side is creators of NFTs figuring out what to do with this new gem that they've just, so it's like a very rough ore that we have right now, and we're kind of trying to clean it, see what we can make with it, you know.
Yes.
Then the third piece is the market. But I think a fourth emerging piece into all of this is digging into what's technically possible with NFT technology. Like not just making JPEGs, or say music's now coming up, people are doing videos, apps are now coming up, right? So with NFT 3 and ISME, we were already envisioning a real world application of like, hey, all of us have passports and a shit ton of paper. Does anybody dislike paperwork? I'm the first one, right? I just hate paperwork. I would much rather die than do paperwork. So if you can digitize that and put it all in something, I don't care if it's an NFT or not, but do that, right? So that's like real world application as a fourth arc also, you know?
I think we need to shift from what's there to what I like to call proof of value. So we need to look at NFT as something tangible that will give value back to the user or the owner. So on that, I want to just put myself in the shoes of the audience there, mostly awake. And I want to make sure to put you in the spot. So work with me on this. I want to ask you one biggest challenge and one biggest opportunity in the NFT space from here to the next 5 years to come. And we'll do a free rolling, okay? And you're the first one to put in the spot.
All right, so the biggest challenge is to make it really easy and simple, like a normal application. So totally it needs to be Web 2 style, like Instagram or something. But then also, since we're going to the time of AI and a lot of fake profiles, also the identities need to be kind of connected with the true identity of the person. So I believe that wallets needs to have a digital identity involved with some proof of humanity, because I mean, NFTs, however they will be called later, I mean, in few years everything will be on blockchain anyways. It will be a standard feature. Nobody will even probably care which blockchain it uses. And the new Web 2 users, they don't even need to know what blockchain it is, because it just confuses them. They are not geeks like us to understand it.
That's
they
where
just
the interoperability layer comes in,
yeah,
right?
they just need to have the experience. They just need, same like they experience an application and they get some rewards or do some action. They just need to have fun and like the app. So all the technology will be kind of standard. So it will be just a backbone, like Intel Pentium, MMX. Like this type of extra engine with a turbo, but nobody knows if there's a turbo or not. It just works.
Yeah. This is, this is really important actually for everybody. This is something we call the motor car conundrum, right? Statistically, something in the region of 62% of any given population own a car, right? I'm sure most of you own a vehicle, or you've driven in one, but something astronomical like actually only 2.4% of a population can explain how the combustion engine works. And you quite happily get in it, you know it works, you turn on your ignition and the thing goes, but you really have no idea what's going on in there. Yeah. And that's the perfection of any technology set, where people just use it without even thinking about it. And that is, that's kind of the end goal.
That's where the opportunity lays, right?
Yeah.
Well, what I see in this space, because you said a problem and opportunity, I think a problem is like
It wasn't that contentious.
I think one of the problems right now is you have a lot of, the real Web3 people are very focused on the technology, the technical side, developer side, and then the whole commercial world actually only sees the visual side, so for example, the creative content and these kind of things. And those two need to still align a little bit, I guess, like if I look at Discord, for example, we work with some cultural institutions and we tell them, hey, yeah, we can create a community for you, for, I don't know, the Avatar, for example. You create a whole community around culture for this, and you show them Discord. So internally in the team already, they're like, what is this? It's very developer-centered. So I think that's still a problem, like it's very developer-centered. It should be a little bit more UX and easy to use for anyone who's not a developer. And I guess the opportunity lays as well for brands and companies to change their customers into a community. And I think I mentioned it yesterday, and I keep on using that context. I think it's a really good one. If you buy for 10 years Nike, and no, I'm not getting sponsored here. So if you buy for 10 years...
he says where he's from.
So if you buy Nike for 10 years, right, and then suddenly you sell it, and you don't buy Nikes anymore, you start buying something else. You don't have any connection with Nike, you don't feel you're losing something. But now if that person, so the customer, is actually connected with an NFT to this community, you feel like, oh yeah, I'm leaving the Nike community, I'm leaving a relationship with them, and also the data is very interesting, right? They can see, oh, this guy's not buying Nikes anymore. So we can suddenly monetize that and really track it. So I think companies will want to start going more towards communities, and yeah, that's
beautiful.
Which also brings the challenge, of course.
So I love the opportunities here.
Yeah.
Please dive in the challenges.
Yeah. So I'll actually kind of do a dichotomous kind of answer where the opportunity essentially with all of blockchain, not just NFTs, right, is because some degree of trustlessness comes in, you can scale community or human-to-human, peer-to-peer connection. So with NFTs, there's a cultural angle to that, which means you can scale communities to an international level right away with this new technological stack that we have. The challenge is how to do that. To get enough people that are very different in orientation to care about the same thing. So like, I love what Martin said, right? For example, I'm a marketing guy, and this is a marketing guy's answer, of course, but all of the languaging within Web3 marketing has always been very developer-centric because it was mostly L1 spending marketing money to try and get developers to build on them, which makes our languaging very overtly technical, which turns off everybody else. It's a lot like trying to sell a Maserati but talking about the engine. Nobody cares about the engine, so that's a very good example. So the challenge is how to not be overtly technical or overtly speculative, because that's the other mistake we've made. You buy this, it's going to 1000x. That's not always the right way to bring in the highest quality people into your community. So I think the biggest challenge is to bring in cultural-oriented people within the space who are not scared of the technology or the sleazy speculation, so to speak, who understand that it's part and parcel of a new space emerging literally out of, insane innovation happening. But we need people who can language that in the right way, where mass adoption will come when we speak to people in a language they understand. And I think that returns to NFTs, as like the key to unlock that.
Love that.
Now, as you rightly said, the space, the technology hasn't matured yet. It is in an evolutionary stage, right? So if you look at the overall crypto user base, it's close to 300 million, according to the Google reports. And how many of them are actually owning an NFT? It's hardly 1% of those users, 3 million or less. Now, for it to get adopted by the masses and to be used in every form, which includes from the gaming, DeFi, also the membership aspect, etc. It is going to take some, marketing efforts as well, educating users to make it simpler to adopt these things, plus technological innovation as well, which we just spoke about, the latest innovations that's happening in the space. So yeah, these are the current challenges. It is going to evolve, and we are going to see the gap between the Web 2 and Web 3 bridge very, very soon. Yeah.
Nice. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you got a mix of some nice challenges, some a bigger opportunity. I'd love to engage you for the next question. Well, many of you heard about what's called creator economy. Did you post that one? Come on, guys.
Look
it's
at
pretty
that.
big.
So many creators over here, man. Amazing.
Cool. And that goes back to you, Mathias. So, what's the role that NFT plays in the creator economy?
I think it's a huge role because, as we said, that communities are very important. Every brand, every creator, every company will have their own community. So let's say the creator has the community, but the creator has sometimes millions of people. How can he know who is his biggest supporter or biggest fan if it don't get tracked, and how he can reward them?
Nice.
So this needs to be somehow be viewable, overseen, and NFT rewards in this sense, like points or somehow being accounted in a charts list. So the creators, they know what's happening. I feel this is very important because then they can get back. They can eventually go to this user's Instagram, give him a like, his social media team, because they see facts, they see numbers, they see statistics, and that's super important. So I feel in the creator economy there's a lot to come. Plus, on social media networks, I mean, creators, they don't even own their followers. So they need to be somehow connected straight with the wallet, with the digital identity of the creator in order to follow them forever.
Exactly.
In all type of use cases which are coming out. And then the creator can just go from use case to use case, evolving with the time, and always keep the same users and keep interacting with them, seeing who is his best users, reward them.
And it finally goes back to the creator. So on that, I just want to get some proper legal lesson there. How do you protect creators on the base of what you just said? So there is this beautiful creator economy that is clearly pumping, but how do you protect creators in the first place?
Yeah, look, I mean, protection is really important in everything we do, especially in this space, because we see a huge amount of overlap. Quick segue. One of the things I love about this industry is there's a lot of people willing to collaborate and work together, which is fantastic. Which is ironic when we then talk about what we're talking about, because a lot of the companies that pioneer this creative space actually compete with each other. And what you do is you find them competing for creators and content creators and everybody to join that specific platform, which is kind of really messed up. It's like saying, look, I'm going to take what you do best, I'm going to take your creativity, and I'm going to monetize it for the goodness of me, not really for the goodness of you. And the awesome thing we see about, and I'll get us back into protection soon, because I think this is where this leads, is a lot of what NFT technology does is it actually puts that power back in the hands of creators. And you used this key word earlier, it's community, and you said it as well. Community is hugely important, and NFTs gives us an ability to cultivate, create, monetize, monitor, engage with those communities. And it does that very seamlessly, all within the technology. And so protecting yourself isn't so much actually about protecting your content. We've been doing that for years. You create materials, you create creative arts, you create literacy pieces. Anything you create, you're already kind of protected. And a lot of people actually don't want protection as much as you think they do. And if anybody thinks I'm lying, watch TikTok. And that's why we have TikTok trends. Because you do it, then you do it, then you do it, then you do it. Yeah. And it's all the same stuff. It's rinse and repeat. But it's content. It's one of the most important things. So your content that's not the piece people want to protect so much anymore. What they want to protect is their brand image and their brand awareness. And NFTs give people an awesome way to do that. Because when you get my official NFT, when you join my official club, when I monetize those official NFTs, you are one of my group. You are one of my crew. You are one of my homies. You are one of my entourage. I don't care what you call it. You're in the club. And that is really cool because you can do that outside of pretty much almost any creative platform that we've got today. You can just do that. Today, any one of you can wrap out an NFT, go and issue it, create it. You don't even necessarily have to monetize it. Because once you've verified that, and just to touch on that, we've relied on verification from social media for so many years. Now they've finally realized how useless that is. Because as of, flash forward 3 months, you're going to be able to buy verification on Facebook and Meta. You can buy verification on Twitter. Monetization isn't that anymore. Protection isn't in that anymore. Protection is in my 13 million followers. I can verify they're real. How? Check out my NFT. Check out my Web3 tech.
I want to add to that because you said protection, and you talk about a lot of protection here as well. I think if you look at accounts, on social medias, there are some accounts of influencers that are getting deleted.
100%. Yeah.
And you're like, you build your life, and everything depends on it around this, especially in the sharing economy, and content creation. Yeah. And then you just have, because of centralized company like Facebook, they can just with one press on a button, just delete that. Yeah. And that is also pushing, towards decentralization. People want to take that off these big brands. Yeah. They want to manage their own data, manage their self actually, which is nothing strange if you think about it. Being able to own your own things. That's how it works in the real world as well, right? I own my car. That doesn't mean that suddenly Ferrari is going to take my car back, for example.
Exactly.
I have a really cool story about this that I'd love to share. Has anybody, so I'm assuming this is a lot of Web3 folks, right? Has anybody heard of Animoca brands? Yatsu and those guys, Animoca brands, right? So Animoca are actually lead investors in NFT3. And I was chatting with Robbie Young from Animoca, and he told me this story. I randomly asked him, how did Animoca get started? How did you get with Yat? How did the whole thing begin, right? Apparently, Yat and Robbie had been friends since they were very little. That's cool. But they were working on separate things. Yat was running a very successful app development company, but everything was on Apple's App Store. And apparently, overnight, Apple changed their terms, and that entire business went to zero.
Jeez.
And so Yatsu, at that point, has this epiphany about the problem is not scaling things with technology. That will keep getting better. The experience will keep getting better. But as long as the technology is not neutral, it's a problem. So decentralization is just another word for, well, the algorithm must be neutral. It shouldn't pick and choose and delete, And so that's actually how Animoca got started, and that's why their thesis is always about digital property rights, which is essentially decentralization of the value we generate when we create content, right? But it's a very powerful piece. It's like you can't get removed off of, and then it's your whole life, And it's so unfair to see that happen. And I mean, it brings me back to like my novel writing days as well. It's like how much you sell is on Amazon. So, back in the day, so when I was 23, I put my first book out on Amazon. They had an option of you can pay a little bit and then your book will receive more views. I figured this out years later. What that means is if you don't pay us that amount, nobody sees you.
Doesn't matter how good your book is.
So a blockchain is neutral by default. So an NFT is not being gamed like that. That's, I think, a key piece when we come to the creator economy.
Nice.
By the way, I must say, we really think alike, dude. I'm so glad to be on this panel with you.
Hey, Jay, close it off.
Yes, so one of the things, like when you guys were talking about is I got reminded of one story. There is a football club in Brazil. So they train new upcoming footballers. And what they introduced is NFTs for each players. And everyone can invest in the players, get fractional ownership of their NFTs. And throughout their journey, they're going to be rewarded in form of tokens based on what the player earns. So that's another interesting way to see how the creator economy is going to evolve, because maybe there are 100 players in this in that club, but 1 or 2 will become superstars like Ronaldo or Messi or the big names. So the earnings that they get at that point will be shared with those who back them in the early days. So that's a very interesting use case of how you can call creators the new startups, because they have to do everything today, right from brand building to running a business, striking deals, partnerships, everything. Yeah. So yeah, that's how I look at creator economy, and NFT is going to play a very important role. This is a very good example. I cannot recall the name, but yeah, that's a very exciting opportunity.
Actually, I know we're all kind of singing, so let's maybe change the vibe a little bit here. NFTs aren't for every content creator. NFTs, a lot of NFTs and a lot of things we see about the technology set is it's agnostic, right? You can deploy it anywhere. But a lot of content creators aren't agnostic. They will join platforms, Twitch, Facebook, whatever. And the question then becomes, well, you're not trying to be agnostic, so you don't need this technology. You can already use the deployment tools that they've got. We know, as technologists, that's pretty rudimentary compared to what they could do, but they jump in and they join up with one specific platform we work with, and I follow a lot of esports gamers. Some esports gamers sign exclusivity contracts with Facebook or Twitch, or and their content is governed by those terms of service. So for them, NFT technology is redundant. They don't need it. It could be kind of gimmicky, and that's important. We can't let people slip NFTs in as a gimmick, because otherwise people don't take it seriously. It's actual tangible content creators deploying the technology creatively and actually tangibly it's kick-ass. Very few things are better. But we kind of got to be realistic and not try and, round peg, round hole, right? If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And we can say that as creatives. I want to add to that. I think the phrase you're looking for, is a content creator that also wants to turn into a business owner. Because there's a project that I'm very familiar with in the music space, doing very similar thing where basically crowdfunding for a musician through tokenization of future royalties, right? And so I know the founder very closely. He's a friend of mine, and they made their beta product, raised a good 100K for a few musicians multiple times through these NFT drops that would promise future royalties. So I go, hey, okay, so where are you struggling? And the guy goes, well, I signed a musician, raised 100K for him. Now he wants to go rent a Lambo with that money. So he discovers, after all this spiel about decentralization and owning everything and controlling everything, that, well, some people don't want to run the business themselves, they need help, And maybe that's why the music labels existed to begin with, they know what to do with the money. So you're absolutely right, is that there's a responsibility on the other side of ownership, right? It's the same thing as your keys, your crypto. You got to then manage your keys. If you don't, it's a problem. So that's why a lot of people prefer banks. They will prefer somebody else having control over the thing, because in their mind, now it's your headache. So absolutely, there's a fit between what one can call a savvy creator, or somebody who's just very, very entrepreneurial and wants to own as much of the pie for themselves as possible and their audience, but not outsiders. But that's not everybody. Some people just want the easy help, and they're happy with that, and that's perfectly fine. Interestingly, there's a legal word for that Lambo situation. That's called a scam.
Yeah, I mean, you should have heard him when he was ripping his hair out.
The challenge is, if you look at Web2 social media, right, you can have 100,000 Instagram followers, then someone can come along, scam your account, just clone your account, start reaching out to all your followers. I'm sure it happened to many of you guys. And effectively, you have no control. You're running to a centralized organization, Instagram, and they'll just say, we got way too many inquiries, I'm sorry, we can help you. So you're basically stranded. That's where, going back to Web3, going back to giving the power back to who belongs to, which is the user and the creator, is what I think the world needs. Doesn't matter how long it will take. I think that you can't really put a stop to evolution. Either you embrace it, or you'll be running and left behind.
Very interesting. I think the community as well could vote all together that this account is maybe a scam. I think for you, this is your topic.
Well, this is, can I, and I know this is such a bugbear for me. And we are actually in contact with Facebook Meta group right now. If you guys are, Meta, if you're watching this, reply to our letter.
Please
No,
do.
legitimately, because the algorithm to spot a fake account is so easy to deploy.
I know.
Yeah.
Pictures all on the same day, duplication pictures, you know.
But
10,000
even if you put
followers.
a gold tick instead of blue tick, just give it to people that.
And it's mind-blowing. And this is the argument we have made for years. You need to deploy this technology for legitimate account verification and to stop this. Because I'm sure we all I get personally maybe 3 fake accounts a week
Yeah, me
that
too.
duplicate.
Me too.
And they're so easy to spot. And they refuse to implement an algorithm, which from a legal standpoint, sounds like you guys are kind of working with them. Watching this.
I was going
Watching
to
this.
say, I was going to say that's an incentive problem.
Yeah.
They have no incentive to reduce the number of accounts on the platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
'cause
it's
they
like-
need-
They get more users.
Yeah.
I think here, Matthias, I think you got a point here.
Well, I have more than like few hundred, like 20,000 followers on Instagram. I have daily new accounts coming, and I have some which successfully manage to scam people.
Yes.
I'm verified. It's
Yeah,
very clear.
yeah.
My name is Mende, 5 digits, very easy. And I always receive message, every day at least 10, 15 messages from people who are about to get scammed. I stop even answering, I can't.
Yeah.
These fake accounts, they are like Hydra, the Hydra monster. You cut one head off, 2 come back out. You cut the 2, 4 come out. And the problem is, even if I report some of them myself to Instagram, as impersonating me, they not delete them. They say I'm wrong.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yep, exactly.
Same thing
It's
happening here.
insane.
Exactly.
And
An incentive
100%.
problem.
Like
It's
this
not,
is,
Yep.
it's fundamentally an incentive misalignment problem, you see. So the very beginning of these social networks was about user, and again, we have to remember these are venture-backed businesses. They have stats to meet at all costs. So a lot of the stuff that we hear about Web3, right? It's a scam, you're all pumping the numbers up, these are all bots, half of these are bots. How many Twitter users do we really know are not bots?
Exactly.
It's
out
like
of your control.
it's not the coolest thing to say because we are all on Twitter and we use it every day. But that doesn't mean the number is not pumped up. So
I think here I want to segue to the last question. How many of you guys, please raise these hands up, heard about ChatGPT? You can see the ones who are
Well,
paying
I'm
attention.
sure there's
the one
more
who
than
not.
this.
Like,
Yeah.
all right, so now,
So guys, lunchtime's up.
now that we segue on ChatGPT, how AI can play, if it can, a major role into the NFT industry? And I'd love to hear all your answers, and let's free flow.
All right, I'll kick off.
Please.
I love the concept of AI, but I really don't think we're anywhere near where it should be right now. For me, I remember and come on guys, let's wake up. Who remembers cloud? Who remembers big data? Who remembers
Right,
crypto?
right.
Everything's just a
IoT
wave, right?
and,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. There's a tech wave. For me, and I want to differentiate between what I think blockchain and crypto is, an actual revolutionary Tier 1 technology set, game changer. AI, yes, it does a lot of very, very cool stuff, but what we actually see right now is, if you go to ChatGPT,
Yes.
it's very rudimentary. It's just a very intelligent way of searching the internet very quickly. And that for me is we're not there yet. So is it capable of doing stuff? Amazing stuff. Are we there yet? Nowhere near.
Love
I
that.
love that answer. That's so contrarian, right? I'll add one
I'm
more
going to
thing
get jumped
that.
by the AI guys outside.
It's okay.
ChatGPT.
I just said that to be nice. AI is going to win. Anyway, all hail the AI overloads.
Yeah.
There's narratives in Web3, right? We saw DeFi come in, DeFi summer was there. There's these narrative spins that always happen. And one of the funny things is if you zoom out, that also happens in the VC world. So I think that's what he's alluding to, is that AI might just be the newest narrative at the moment. We don't really know how much impact it will have. That being said, I think, going back to the creator economy thing, it definitely pumps in way more content than we're used to. If we thought content creation was going really, really fast, imagine something 1,000 times more powerful than
steroid
that.
now,
So then
for sure.
curation becomes the whole game. That's my opinion. Is that the thing the human will do is curation.
I'm just so excited how this space is developing. Like I compared a little bit to the record label, music industry, how you used to buy a CD, that's your only way of getting music, and now just everyone has a subscription. and how that changed for the seller, but also the artist, and like it just revolutionized the whole music industry. And I feel like here AI will just revolutionize even maybe not one industry, but
Every
like
industry.
just a different way of how we will communicate, own certain things, create certain things. It's just, I just hope it will stay like it will be an add-on, like you will
Right.
use AI to either do things or, you know, it will help you. But that's why you raised about AI, you know, you're saying like you have to be careful that it shouldn't replace you. So you want to work with AI and like create a real account from a real person and compare that and not be the same as a fake account, right?
Yeah, but the biggest problem is that there's a platform called make.com where you can connect tools which don't have an API with each other. And what I've seen, what some people did with ChatGPT, they created avatars, they gave them a character, they are prompted to behave how they are prompted, and those characters in the future, let's say if the metaverse gets real sometime, they will be, we will not be able to differentiate if this is a real human or not.
Sure.
And even this whole proof of humanity thing, even this could be a CGI video. So the future, it's actually really dangerous.
By the way, at ISB right now, we're working on proof of humanity.
And
that's one of the things we're doing.
And there are digital creators who are artificial and they are famous. They don't even exist and have hundreds and thousands and millions. It's
nice,
very
but
cool, but it's
Guys, what a beautiful way to end it. Sorry to cut you short. Thank you very much for this awesome conversation. I think we dive from AI to NFTs to decentralization. I wish I had a lawyer like that. So can you just come in with a round of applause, please? And thank you very much, everyone. I hope you're wakey. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.